Rage. Sing, goddess, Achilles' rage. Black and murderous, that cost the Greeks incalculable pain, pitched countless souls of heroes into Hades' dark, and left their bodies to rot as feasts for dogs and birds. As Zeus's will was done, begin with the clash between Agamemnon, the Greek warlord, and godlike Achilles. Thus begins the story of the Iliad, featuring one of its most pivotal characters, Achilles, son of Zeus and Leto. Welcome to the battlefield. Achilles' passive, Gift of the Gods, functions as a mode switch, where while in the fountain, he can choose to either don his armor to gain increased health and defense, or forego it to gain strength and movement speed. When using his first ability, Shield of Achilles, Achilles applies 2 cones of damage in front of him at the same time. The smaller cone does full damage and stuns, while the farther reaching cone does reduced damage with no stun. Both cones do increased damage to non-god enemies, and can go through walls. For Smite 1 players, this ability now also grants a prolonged stun or increased scaling, based off whether he is armored or not. These Smite 2 additions will be called +1s from here on out. After activating his second ability, Radiant Glory, Achilles will gain increased strength, protections of both types, and CCR for a time. While active, abilities that damage enemies will heal you, and as a +1 will grant a physical shield while armored, or reduced enemy protections while unarmored for a time. Achilles' third ability, Combat Dodge, lets him dash a short distance in the direction he is moving. After the dodge, he can then reactivate the ability to thrust his spear forward in an AoE, going through enemies while damaging them and going through walls. If a god is harmed, then Achilles can use this ability once more. The +1 for this ability is a slow applied to enemy gods hit while armored, or increased dash speed while unarmored. The hero of the Trojan War's ultimate ability is Fatal Strike. After a short preparation, Achilles launches himself forward a short distance, passing through all non-god enemies dealing damage. If he hits a god, the dash ends, and if the god is below a certain health threshold, they are executed, allowing him to recast the ultimate. This chain of executions can last up to 6 times. However, each execution he makes increases his damage taken from all sources for a time. Achilles' aspect of prowess reorients his kit to be played more in the jungle role and makes him much more of a glass cannon. Combat Dodge now gets its recast off of jungle monsters and bosses, with the thrust afterwards gaining increased scaling to everything. So while using aspect in jungle, you want to level your 3 first, like in solo lane. However, Radiant Glory will not give increased protections in CCR, making you more easily locked down and killable. So pick your battles very wisely. On screen are a few plug-and-play builds for each role mentioned previously, and I will very briefly go through each one to explain the general purpose of them. However, this list is of course by no means exhaustive, and items and stats have a chance to change drastically with each patch. In the solo lane, Achilles' main focus is being able to tank a hit and dish it right back, wearing down your opponent for the eventual execution. In this build, starting with a Bluestone, Pendulum Blade, and Sundering Arc will give him some much needed damage and cooldown. Pivoting into Shifter Shield adds some vital protections when charging enemies, and Circe's Hexstone allows him to charge much more efficiently. From then, Glorious Pridwin, Gladiator Shield, and Spirit Robe increases survivability substantially, while adding damage from protections, which synergizes with Achilles' second ability. In the jungle, your job is to quickly lock down, hit hard, execute, then get out. Starting with Achilles' aspect, Boomba's Cudgel, Jotun's Revenge, and Sundering Arc ensures damage and gives increased readiness with each kill or assist. Moving to the Reaper and Brawler's Ruin negates any recovery the enemy might have, while increasing your own recovery along with strength on each kill permanently. From there, Hydra's Lament and Titan's Bane will enhance your basics after an ability, similar to Boomba's, along with adding some essential penetration. Last, Erendite will help you chase down enemies and destroy them. In the support role, the name of the game is actives that buff to make your teammates just as oppressive as you are. Beginning with Selflessness, a mountain of health pots, Shell, and Prophetic reinforces early survivability. Building into Stampede and Purification Talisman next allows your team to chase down the enemy and defend yourselves from any hard CC. Spirit Robe makes you harder to kill, and Circe's Hexstone enhances your chase. while Draconic Scale provides you with a mini version of your second ability to allow you and your team to continue the battle. As John Dryden wrote of the final moments of Achilles, the deity himself directs aright the envenomed shaft and wings the fatal flight. Thus fell the foremost of the Grecian name, and he, the base adulterer, boasts the fame. Let us hope that your fate is not the same. If you want more godly intros and guides, then I will see you next time in the Armory. Hey guys, just a little postscript note here. This video series is not supposed to be exhaustive on how to build or play the character at all. Again, these characters and builds can change drastically with each patch, just depending on how the developers change it. But if you want to see on current patch how characters play or build or whatever, I encourage you to stop by twitch.tv/Fantonimo. Just shameless little plug there. Ask me to play a god. We'll have a discussion on how to build the god as well. And I would be more than glad to do that. So I will see you guys in the next one.